Okay, story time. Okay. I once called out the Unity Church for the fact that they brought in a white man to teach Buddhism, a white man to teach Hinduism, and a white man to teach Sufism. Okay. And it was it was ridiculous, right? And I wasn't just calling out the lack of diversity, I was also calling out the straight up appropriation and epistemicide, which is cultural genocide. Okay? So, do you know what they did? A few months later, they brought in a black couple for the first time, probably in years, right? And first of all, they probably did not even pay them because normally an event like that is a ticketed event where you have to pay for a ticket to be admitted to the event. But this was totally on a donation basis for a 3-day workshop. So where did they find the money to pay them? I don't think they even paid them. But that's not the main point. My main point, though, is when I went to the workshop, every one of their sources and references were white people, mostly white men. And I just laughed. It was the funniest, most ridiculous thing ever. They were doing exactly the same thing I had actually called them out for. They just flipped it by using a black Trojan horse or sock puppet or colonial agent, what we would call a sepoy in our culture, right? Or a coconut. And because my point wasn't just the lack of diversity. What would have been better was if they brought an indigenous African to teach African traditional religion. That's what I meant. So they should bring a Hindu to teach actual Hinduism. That's what I meant. So this is the problem with so-called diversity initiatives. I've seen this at book clubs that claim to teach from diverse books, and it's the same old colonial imperialist stories in brown face or black face. I don't want to read Shakespeare in Shanghai, Romeo and Juliet in Shanghai, okay? If I want to read Shakespeare, I'll read Shakespeare. I don't want to read Shakespeare in blackface or brownface. Because even in Parable of the Sower, it's a great book, but there's a plot where this 18-year-old girl is in this intimate romantic relationship with a 53-year-old man, and they have a baby. And I think they get married too. So it's still like problematic. Like there's wonderful things in that book. It's very like, you know, some people say it's prophetic because the stuff that's in the book that was written in 1993 is happening, right now. Uh, Even the market slogan is in there, like, but even that book, right? And then other books are even worse. Uh, there's a time travel novel written by a biracial person that glorifies a white person from 1842 or something, a white man, back when marital rape was still legal, back when child marriage was legal. Even to this day in England, the legal age is like 14 or something like that, or 15. Back then it was like 11 and then 13, something like that. Um, I don't remember my the exact figures anymore, but it was something like that. So yeah, This is why I say diversity has been weaponized. It is weaponized. It's a scam. Because even back in the day, you had, Indian soldiers who fought for the British Army. You had black slave catchers. This is why I said in one of my poems, Would You Rather? Right? I said, would you rather a white man choke you, or a brown woman, or a black neurodivergent non-binary disabled person? Or would you rather nobody choke you? Right? This is why Angela Davis said diversity is seen as a synonym for justice, and it isn't. It's a difference that doesn't make a difference. These people are literally playing bad cop, worst cop with us, these imperialists. It's worse than good cop, bad cop, okay? You have the Republicans or conservatives who implement the worst, most extremist policies, so that when you bring in Democrats or liberals, anything is better than that. Anything is better than those extremist policies. We end up accepting crumbs because the other side is so extreme. It's Stockholm syndrome. Because the only black and brown people that the liberals want in power and prosperity and privilege that get published, for example, which is a little bit of power, right, is people who will only tell the imperialist colonial stories. They will never allow an actual anti-imperialist decolonial story to be actually published. Okay? Wake up. Peace.